For our next panel, we have the future of digital formats. Bart Frank from Object, who's going to be your moderator. Thank you.
Welcome everyone to the future of digital formats. I'm Bart Frank. I'm the creative director and co-founder of Object Films. Object Films, that's what we used to be called, of Object. We actually dropped the films about 5 years ago, so I don't know where that came from. We produce digital formats for brands, broadcasters and publishers, and also work directly with influencers. With me, I have Matt Ford, the VP Commercial Digital Studio at Sony Pictures. Matt is currently setting up the new digital studio in the UK. I have Mike Beale, the Managing Director, Global Creative Network and Production Support at ITV Studios. Nailed that. And then I have CEO, Taf Makopo, CEO of Mako Studios. Yes, there we go. Get all the intros out the way early to sort of save some time so you don't have to waste time listening to you guys intro yourselves. Perfect. So what I wanted to start off with was a question for everyone. So Matt, I'll start with you. What are you currently doing in the digital format space?
So I've been at Sony for about 4 months now. Previously to that, they were a client of mine when I was consulting for them. And their the project that I worked with them on was very much based around all of the noise that came out last year around YouTube viewership, mainly on a TV, but also where the consumption is going and the money is following and stuff like that. And fast forward to now, we're now setting up a new digital division within Sony Pictures in the international production arm, which is making content for YouTube, original content for YouTube. So it's made for platform content. It's the first time that they've gone into that space. Historically, as with many of the big studios and production companies and broadcasters, it's been we make stuff for film and TV, and we use the digital platforms for distribution, for monetization, for audience growth, and whatnot, for promotion for the new Spider-Man film, for example, and that sort of thing. This is the way that we're going to go in and start making original stuff. So new formats, new shows, new IP. A lot of it will be with creators. We want to work closely with creators. We want to help fund creator channels and new channels where we can launch new formats and new shows. But most importantly, we're doing this for the long term. So we're at the moment we're exploring which creators we want to work with and like launch new channels with, versus really kind of looking at individual shows. That's something that we might consider in the future. And we want stuff that kind of it will keep returning, right? Like something that's is a really simple idea that, because the platforms, YouTube in particular, it rewards consistency and it rewards, if you put the same thing out and it's good week in, week out, we want to create something that's going to return and do that. And then we build our ecosystem around it. It's also really important that we do this in a way that is going to be self-sustaining. It's Sony's a big global studio, right? And there's a few of the others in here today. And there's you've got to look at how you can make sure that it can, you can invest the right amount of money you need, but also that it does return. So we're looking at how we can actually make sure it's self-sustaining over time.
Nice. So you're very much in the launch phase.
Absolutely.
So what sort of timeline have you got for launching the first channels?
I don't know what I can say in this room, but yeah.
I'll give us a scoop.
Yeah, I don't know when my team. So broadly, so ideally we'll go into production in December with our first channel. We'll look to launch that sometime in Q1. Ideally, the next launches will come at staggered times throughout next year. Our current plan has us launching sort of 3 or 4 channels a year, and but it all will depend on what the type of content is. And who the creators are that we're going to end up working with. So, but the plan is to launch a portfolio of channels. We're not looking at this as a 1 or 2 year thing. This is a 5, 6, 7 year thing for Sony Pictures. So, and how we build that portfolio over time. So we're looking at variety. We're not focused. Well, entertainment is obviously massive, and it's an incredible genre, especially on YouTube. And it's something that is a key focus for us. But we're not only working within that round. We're looking at what we can do in sport, what we can do in food, what we can do in premium factual. So all of these different elements, which we know if you get it right, can be really successful channels on YouTube. That's where we're looking at.
at the moment. Nice. So a big sort of multi-channel network plan.
Yeah, I guess like world domination, I guess.
Yeah, nice. Cool. Well, we'll come back to you, but let's move on down the line to Mike. So, Mike, what are you guys currently doing with
Same as
ITV
me. That's great. Yeah.
Perfect, right?
Brilliant. So I've just made a recording, actually. Yeah. No, look, from my perspective, sort of overseeing the global creative network, which is all of our development teams around the world, is sort of three key areas for us. I think Jason just said it on the last panel, which is how do we take our existing brands, be they extensions of that brand, or how do we bring back nostalgic brands, work with creators and get them out there. We're very much live and sort of busy doing that at the moment. I mean, how do we create? We spend a lot of money a year on development around the world. We come up with a lot of ideas. Even some of our development team are under the age of 25 as well. So we constantly got this development pipeline that we've got, and surprisingly, not all of it is good enough for television or right for television. So, be it a strand or a game or a challenge, this is a great opportunity for us to bring that to screen. And then talent, working with talent, utilizing that development. What do the creators, what do the talent on the platforms want to do, and how can we help them realize that? Yeah. And I think, I mean, the biggest challenge for us is, as a television production company, is how do we produce for that? But I think we're up and open for work of not trying to reposition ourselves on that and work with the people who know how to do it.
Yeah.
And also data. God, that's so exciting that we don't have to wait 8 months for a show to go out and see that 6 people watched it. To work out to work out how we can change it rapidly. Yeah. So I think it's a great opportunity for us, and despite being the dinosaur here today, I think we can take advantage of it alongside Sony, bigger dinosaur.
Because what are your current outlets for digital formats?
That's a good question. It's what's it called? Tic Tac. YouTube, MySpace. No,
That's the headline.
Yeah,
MySpace is the biggest one.
Exactly. No, we're there. Look, we're working very closely with Zoo55, who obviously actually know what they're doing, and they're helping us sort of get it. But we're across the board wherever we can put content. I mean, we launched just last week, and it's a trial, a new game onto YouTube, onto TikTok, called Cram, which back to Alex's presentation is built in AI. It's all built in AI because it's an idea we've had for a long time, but we couldn't achieve it at a cost price.
Yeah.
Because of it's all animated, so it's really exciting that we can do that stuff. So no, we're putting stuff up everywhere. I mean, we got Metavision in the group as well. We're putting stuff into the metaverse, and so no, we're going everywhere we can.
Perfect. Well, carry on down the line to you, Taff. Hello.
Hi.
So what are you currently doing in the digital format space? What's on
See, now I have to be funny. Right, everyone is laugh, so I am funny. Okay, cool, perfect. So now that we've got the laugh out of the way, so currently what I'm currently doing in Micro Studios is setting up a multi-brand collaborations between different brands and also building the brands platforms. So kind of following on from the success that we managed to achieve when I was still with the war with like Pretty Little Thing and early days of Thought Asylum, etc. So it was so I'm just taking that ethos, but taking a slightly different direction where I know there's brands that really love that, want to be on that digital platform, but might not have the budgets to suffice what it actually costs now. A few months ago, I sat down with this handsome man who has the best podcast on the planet. His name is Justin. Check it out. It's a TellyCast podcast. And then we kind of dived into the pressures that are coming with budget and what that looks like. So I think I've set up Micro Studios to be that company that bridges that gap and brings pretty much a lot of eyes to brands that might not actually have the total budget to be able to do that themselves.
Yeah. So you sort of mentioned multi-brand approach. Can you just explain to us what that is?
So a multi-brand approach, what I've done is I've done a lot of work. I have to say a lot of work because then it sounds professional. I've done a lot of work kind of identifying what I call brand clusters. So these brand clusters are brands that speak to the same audience but for different purposes. So using an example of something that we actually did together, is a format that, you know, had Boohoo Man in it. So Boohoo Man who have that clothing age group, that's the same age group that JBL will have, which is audio supplement for that. And then also the same audience or the same customer that Africana will have as a place where they'll go to dine. So I've got those three brands together. Headaches, minimal but maximum sometimes. And once we got there, we're like, okay, this is the format, and this format allows all of those three brands to shine without competing, without clashing, and actually showcase to the same audience instead of instead of us doing three shows with a show with each brand. In that 20 minutes, the consumer would have consumed everything as a package that they would use in their lives, and how they'd use that brand.
Yeah, nice. Matt, you said something interesting about this when we were sat in the green room.
God.
From your Foot Asylum experience.
Yeah.
You know what you're saying?
Yeah.
Care to expand?
What did I say?
You said you kind of commented on how it was really interesting that Boohoo would be up for sharing the screen or sharing their YouTube channel with other brands, and how that's like a viable funding model, because that was something you noticed was a bit of a problem when
Yeah, it sounds too wise for me, that.
Yeah.
No, I think so. Yeah, it was interesting. When I used to work at Cowshed, and Cowshed produced the YouTube content for Foot Asylum, and part of that relationship at the time was like, how can we find additional ways of funding that channel? How could they find it? How could we find it? And like, I know a lot of the media agencies and a few brands around the UK and stuff like that. So you'd pull together a bit of like can we get any brand money with it to come into the Foot Asylum YouTube channel? And there was a bit of a I guess a reticence to do it, because at the time the brands on the other side, so not Foot Asylum, they really wanted to make more money on their own channel, obviously. The other brands were, why would we sponsor or be in or integrate into or do a partnership with another brand?
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is probably about 3 or 4 years ago. So it wasn't, you know, you're doing this successfully now, which is great to see the kind of like how it's evolved and stuff like that. But at the time, that was the thing they couldn't get past. But Foot Asylum YouTube is a YouTube channel which has creator-led formats that are now weekly, used to be bi-weekly, that are published as 45 hour long shows every single week. They're not doing it as it's, you know, it's not an ad dump, it's not anything like that. It's an actual entertainment channel. So which drew a massive UK based Gen Z audience. So it was for me, it was like, well, this is a no-brainer if you're trying to reach that audience. But at the time, it was probably a little bit too early days, and the fact that it's now kind of happening a little bit more is.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, well,
But interesting. What do you think's changed? Did you run into any of those issues, Taff, when you were
Yeah, I think
striking these conversations, like trying to deals? Was there other brands that you went to that said no, and
100%.
reasons?
Yeah.
Can you just elaborate a bit on that?
I think what's massively changed now is the reality versus the reality of achieving what God looks like. So I feel like, because I remember when we did Dust to Shoe Fit, the first run of Foot Asylum, everyone thought they could just have a video. And obviously at that time, the market wasn't as saturated as it is now. And then the creators were not costing what they cost now. I remember doing, if I say what the budgets were for Does the Shoe Fit back then, I think everyone would be like, and we'll do it again. But actually, when I look back, that just the full production budget is now what you pay 2 talent, if not maybe 1 talent, for what it was back then. So usually looking at that, it's actually an unrealistic ambition for certain brands to be able to achieve the same spotlight on their own.
Yeah.
And I think for me, luckily, I spent a successful 10 years when I was at the Wall and created a big enough reputation to say, look, and enough good enough relationships to put these people in a room and say, look, let's have this conversation here. And this is something that could work. But also what I think is now more important for the brands to get over that, the ones that said no and now are saying, please, can we come back to the table, was understanding the purpose that the brand will play. And I think what's more important now, which is where I've managed to get success, is having a format that doesn't force the other brand, and it doesn't make the other brand feel superior or not as or inferior. English is my second language, guys. Please do forgive me. Another brand not feel inferior to the other brand, which is actually the mechanic of the show can't function without those brands been working together. So yeah.
Nice. And then shifting it back to you, Matt. So obviously there's been quite a lot of. I'll come to you in a bit, Mike. Don't worry.
He's the funny one.
I know he's the one that's funny.
I got along the line.
He's gonna ask you about MySpace, so don't worry. Like, very CD.
Bring back Vine.
Yeah.
So obviously there's been quite a lot of interesting hires going on at Sony.
Yeah.
A very big one. And
Good
a
hires.
few
Great hires.
Good hires as well, definitely.
Yeah.
What does this mean for the future? And then probably more specifically, what does this mean in terms of your approach to digital formats? How you're going to develop them, your commissioning plans versus influencer directly?
I think it's just indicative of the moment in time that we're in, right? Like a year or so ago, then me and Sasha probably aren't joining Sony. But now, given where the market is and what Sony's ambition in this space, we have the opportunity to come in and build something for a global studio which hasn't been done before, which is an incredible remit, and can't wait to kind of actually start making stuff and getting going and really hit the ground running and stuff. And that's amazing. But what it means for formats is I think it's let's see where it goes, because at the moment we're the way that we are structuring it and setting it up and what our goals are is to have those like long returnable formats over time. But what's interesting at the moment, and I still, I'm 4 months in, and that's Sony's a big company, it's global business, so I'm still finding my feet around the world, especially with the guys over in LA, but it's kind of understanding the other ways in which what we can do and the shows in which we can create and which we can make and distribute, and how we can use other parts of Sony's distribution offering to kind of help that as well, whether it's through fast channels or other S4 platforms, or whether it's Barbia TVs, or whether it's through the streamer relationships. There's lots of different things that we are looking at that we will fund creator shows and creator formats and put them out on YouTube, and that is absolutely our goal and our kind of like our especially our short-term goal of what we're doing here. But how can we build in the wider distribution offering as well that's going to see these formats monetized globally, locally, whatever it might be? And that's interesting, because that I don't know the answer to yet. Right, but I think that trying to find that out and trying to push that and trying to drive that's really exciting. So hopefully, Justin, if I'm allowed back next year, I can tell you how that went.
And then speaking as a co-founder of a production company, is there any commissioning opportunity?
We said in your dream room, don't ask that question in front of all these people.
There's a lot of people who've been interested in knowing that answer.
Yeah, there is. So look, it's definitely not a no. It's just that right now we are building a production team in house that is going to be producing the stuff, going to be editing the stuff, going to be channel managing the stuff, going to build a sales team, build a strategy team. That we're going to be like doing all of that kind of in house with a core team of digital native people, because that's the skill set we need. But in the future, who knows? I'd like to think that we will start working with the third party production companies in the future, because we will have a portfolio of channels where we might not have necessarily all the resource that is required to keep all of them going.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So and at that point, hopefully we've built successful channels which are monetizing well, and we're doing some brand deals, and we're doing like good ad revenues and stuff like that, where actually we've got some additional funding to use to fund third party producers rather than just funnel it all through our team. So yeah, TBC.
So it's working well and all's going successful. Hopefully your amount of output will outgrow your internal team, and then we'll all be able to start tuning in with you as well.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
And he's gonna say that next shift, just just to say, just the one.
So Mike, come back to you.
Yes.
Here we go.
Thanks, mate.
Look at him. What does the future of digital formats look like for ITV Studios? Are you looking at your existing formats and brands and how you can exploit them in different ways on digital, or is there plans to create wholly new original content for the digital space?
Yeah, same as Matt. No, we're already doing the four.
Yeah,
we're already taking the brands with and extending them, and have been for years. I mean, Fifth Judge on The Voice, which ran in various territories, which was solely digital, which then came back to television. That stuff's happening. But no, we want to. I think it's probably twofold. I think we want to create and go out. I think we want to reboot. It's what Victor said this morning. They rebooted Big Brother for Gen Z. Yeah, we've got plenty of that you can have a go with. So come and knock on the door, because we will let you have a go. I'm not sure we'll commission them though, but we'll help you find a brand. Find money. Yeah. No, it's going to get it's a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
But I think also so new, yes, definitely. But also, we saw it this morning on the Wits thing. We've picked up a couple already. Is actually what's working in the digital space that we can take back to television. I mean, we do have a skill base in this pipeline, which we can help bring either the talent, the individual, to town, which we're seeing a lot already, or the idea itself. How do we upscale it and take it through? So it can come both ways, and we're open for that.
Nice. Any plans for an ITV 1.0 or anything? Dale?
And that would be a media and entertainment question.
Okay.
So ask go and see him. No. We've again going back to Zoo. We've got a lot of channels already, a lot of program channels, and a lot of brand channels, or genre channels, I should say. We will definitely be looking at because it's going to be the how do we launch this new stuff? That's the biggest question for us. It's great working with the creators because they have the viewership, so that's great. But how do we do it? And we've got to build that.
Yeah, nice. It might take because we're going to the end of the session, so I might try and take some questions from here. Let's go with question for Taff.
Oh,
Vegas.
Here we go.
Oh no.
I'm reading these as I'm reading them, so if there's rude stuff in there, then it might get through. Where does this brand cluster content sit? Does one brand host the video, or is it a whole brand new channel?
Oh, this is interesting. So the stuff I'm doing at Boohoo, it's sitting on Boohoo channel, but purely just because they've got the biggest proportion share of the budget. And that's how I made everyone agree, right? Like whoever has got 60% plus gets to have the content. But you probably saw, if you don't read TellyCast, everything that they do on the drop, please do. There is a new platform that we're launching, and I'm doing that in partnership with Child's Play, which is called Playkind, and that's going to be a brand new platform. That is not Child's Play is the main sponsor in terms of like to make sure that I've got enough money to pay a mortgage, but also they're going to be the main house in terms of like from a budget perspective. But on that platform, we're speaking to everyone from Gucci, Fendi, etc., because that's who they resell for. So that is going to be a brand new channel. But most of them are conversations that you have. What I can see happening if I was to do this and have my wish is this cluster brands actually becomes like teams, and then they all have the one channel that they all kind of be part of, not because of anything else, but because they genuinely can't afford to have their own channels. But it will be a much more economical way for them to be able to achieve what they want to achieve.
I think that lives on YouTube.
Definitely lives on YouTube, yeah. I think you're going to see like 4 versions of Playkind by 2027, where it's like, okay, especially brands that are owned by parent company.
It's like Fairlines when they join.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're gonna start seeing that. Because obviously, like what I'm doing at Boohoo now, interestingly, has caught a lot of attention with the Debenhams group. Now Boohoo is part of the Debenhams group, and in there you've got Karen. I'm gonna say brands I don't even know about, like Karen Miller. I know that. Yeah, you've got all of the other brands in the Debenhams group. So that is something that we're exploring to go, okay, is there a Debenhams group channel that all the other companies have a fraction of their marketing budget but can achieve bigger?
I guess you don't need to then brand it Debenhams Group.
No, it could be played
as its own digital publishing.
Yeah, TAF 2.0, yes. And then we can do that, exactly that. And that will be the next, that's my next mission after proving a few concepts with what I'm doing currently.
Nice. Well, we're getting very, very tight for time, so I've got another one quickly for you, Matt. Sony's plans to build a portfolio of channels. How is this going to be? How's performance going to be judged? What's the main return on investment? Is it a return on investment play? Why?
Yeah, everything's a return on risk. It depends how long you give yourself to get there.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the point. And that's anybody who's doing this from scratch, which we are. It's going to take time, and you're not going to return in the first 12 months. And that's something you just have to go into with your eyes open from the beginning. But it's about all of the other benefits that it's doing when you're kind of working with new talent and you're creating new IP and new shows and stuff. And but the most important thing is what you're doing by building a portfolio of channels is you're building an audience that you speak to directly. So it's a D2C proposition, right? And at that point, once you've built the audience, like with the creators, like we heard from Victor earlier on about how the Sidemen monetize them in the way that they do, is that once you've got that audience, with that audience on digital platforms, you can monetize them in a lot of different ways. And this is a very different thing for a studio who is used to commissions, where you have one funder most of the time who pays you for a show. And it's actually, no, what we're doing is we are backing ourselves to make the content and fund the content, to distribute the content. We don't know who's going to pay for it at the end of it. We're going to speak to anyone who's going to build that audience. And that is going to return commercially in the long run once we get to the numbers, right? And the numbers we've worked out in terms of whether it's ad revenue, whether it's sponsorship, brand deals, whether it's subscriptions, live events, products and merch, all of that stuff, all in the ways that the creators monetize. They're going to be all of our revenue streams that we do as Sony. We've got to balance that with our overhead line.
I was going to say, I know you're out of time because I see it flashing, but
I was going to say this is
but
I was just going to be angrily blinking at me.
I was massively going over you with that. But that's the other thing that the dinosaurs can offer, is the fact that we do everything.
Yeah,
we do this already for traditional television content. So we have all these skill bases to get brand deals, to do live events, to do it. So we can help. Again, we can be helpful. We want to be in this infrastructure. We definitely want to be in it, despite what Victor says.
Well, quick one sentence answer to this question. The thing is, as this is the future of digital formats, what is your prediction for next year and beyond for the digital format space? Your one sentence response to that question.
More creator shows on streamer platforms.
Thank you.
I agree with Matt. No, there's going to be some breakout here. It's going to the ecosystem will be the same as television. We're going to find celebrity traitors in the next 12 months, but the new one, yeah.
As a lot of platforms are moving to subscriptions, platforms are going to also become our commissioners.
There we go.
Like that one.
Thank you.
Very good. Lovely one to end on. Perfect. Thank you very much, everyone. And well done to the guests.
Thank you.